What did you do during the war?
I worked in a radio factory.
What did you really do during the war?
Are you paying attention?
The Imitation Game is a biography focusing around Alan Turing, a key figure in cracking Nazi Germany's Enigma code. And it also focuses on several aspects of Alan Turing's life in which he was basically outed in the public as being homosexual. And it focuses on that, as well as his career trying to crack this supposedly unbreakable Nazi code, which is sent around to all the Nazis, and he has to break it before any real damage is done. The Imitation Game was actually a really compelling biography, which has a lot of maths and numbers involved, but again just manages to be completely compelling throughout. I was invested in this character of Alan Turing. I was invested in the characters of his team as well. I thought the performances were also very well done. But I also thought The Imitation Game was also a very by-the-numbers biography, as much as I enjoyed a lot of parts of it, and there are some not-so-standard parts. There are also some very standard parts. Watching Tyldum has an interest in this story, and you can tell. He directs it pretty well. There's a couple cool images that I thought, oh, that's a cool shot, and you can tell he really wants to apologize for the treatment of this real life guy who really never got to see any compensation in his lifetime. In fact, he was only formally really apologized for in 2013, which is really, really sad. And this is kind of another sort of form of apology to the treatment of this man. And I think Morten Tyldum does a really good job with that, even if it is very standard at times. Benedict Cumberbatch as Alan Turing is really, really good. I wouldn't say he's phenomenal, but he definitely captures what I think Alan Turing stood for. I didn't know him, but from reading about him, what he did, it seems to be a very accurate portrayal. And I've read also about Benedict Cumberbatch's basic commitment to the role, and I was very, very impressed. I thought he was very, very good. I wouldn't say it's absolutely phenomenal, but I was very, very impressed by it. In fact, maybe even more impressed, who I was more impressed by was Keira Knightley. I thought she did a fantastic job as Joan Clark. A lot of people saying they thought she was plain. I actually thought she was maybe even more interesting of a character than Alan Turing, and I wish got more screen time. Just because she was more than the traditional love interest, she was smart as well. And also she cared for Alan Turing as well. And that their relationship is one of the best parts of the movie. The script, again, is probably where I have the most problems, but I thought the dialogue was actually really good. There's a good mix of humor in there. If not, at times the humor does detract from the actual flow of the story. And there are a couple of typical flashbacks to Alan Turing's past, which I thought really were unnecessary, or at least were portrayed unnecessary in the film. I really didn't care for those bits. And again, the comedy does kind of slow down the film at times, because there is a lot. It's good, but there's sometimes I'm like, okay, can we get on with the story a little bit more? But the dialogue overall was pretty good. I just thought there were issues with the pace of the script and the story, which again Morten Tyldum did keep those pacing issues and into the film, and so did Willem Goldenberg, the editor. But I think it kind of originated in the script. This film has everything a standard biography picture usually has. It has this guy who wants to do something to change the world. There his doubters, his critics, and then he finally proves those wrong. That's what happens to
What
Life
did
a
you do
lot.
during the war?
I didn't really see
worked in a
anything
radio
about this
factory.
film that basically turned that
What did you really
around
do
or was
during the war?
revolutionary, except I thought
Are you
it was
paying
very
attention?
well acted. I thought the use of comedy was actually pretty interesting, especially for a film like this. And I thought the music, I liked the music, the content of the music at times, but sometimes it was also very, very whimsical, and it had a very light tone, which is an indicator of where what tone the film was going for. And I like it, but also I think sometimes it should have been toned back because there's a lot of music in this movie. So overall, The Imitation Game is a solid biography picture, a solid film overall. Just I cannot basically get away from the very standard by the numbers telling of the story. There's flashbacks, there's some criticism of the media, and also I feel like the film could have ended a little bit earlier. Just for me, I would tighten it up the film a little bit more. But the acting by Benedict Cumberbatch, Keira Knightley, and everybody involved, I thought was especially good. And I just thought it was a really successful kind of homage and love letter to Alan Turing, who despite his sexual orientation, that really doesn't matter because he was one of the key players in winning the World War II. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Okay, guys, if you've seen The Imitation Game, definitely let me know what you think of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? A lot of people are saying it's just very I think it's a little bit more than so I'm going to give The Imitation Game a 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Sometimes it is the people who no one imagines anything of, who do the things that no